Hello, I'm James Mallinson from Oxford Investment Consultants, and I'm really pleased that today we have Rich Simmonds, the CEO of Orthoson, with us. Rich, please can you tell us a bit about yourself and the background to your arrival at Orthoson?
Sure. My name is Richard Simmonds. Rich Simmonds, everyone calls me. I've been the CEO of Orthoson since June 2018. About 6 or 7 years earlier, I'd been speaking to the team at Oxford University Innovation and challenged them to say, I think the UK can do a better job of commercializing the incredible IP that comes out of Oxford University. And then fast forward 6 or 7 years, I'm happily working at Terumo, a multinational MedTech company based in Belgium. And I received a call from the directors of Orthoson saying, hey, we're looking for a CEO. And it was right in my sweet spot. It was just something that kept me up for a few nights while I could have got my head around the idea of tearing myself away, but I knew I couldn't refuse. And so I went through the process in early part of 2018 and joined in June. My experience has been in medical technologies, development and commercialization of medical technologies, my whole career. So I've in sales and marketing and business development and general management of businesses. And I knew that there was an opportunity in spine. So this was always meant to happen, I'm sure.
Can you describe the problem that Orthoson is trying to solve and your solution to it?
So those of us who have problems from time to time with low back pain will know, and it's about a third of adults globally have some low back pain in a 90-day period. And effectively, most people will be okay. Most people will have some kind of conservative treatment like physiotherapy, maybe even some minimally invasive injections, and that will work out. But if you're the unlucky 5 or 10%, your options are not great. So the surgical options really are grouped together with stabilizing the spine, which involves fusing it and minimizing the movement. But the spine is supposed to be a mobile, very flexible joint or series of joints. Alternatively, you can ablate the nerves and that masks the pain, but there's nothing in this space that effectively gives a minimally invasive option that will restore the performance of the spine, that will give mobility to the spine and be a sustainable solution for the longer term.
Can you describe how the Orthoson technology works?
We have a combination of technologies for patients with a degenerate intervertebral disc. We're looking to restore the performance of that spine just through a single needle puncture. And we use a combination of a novel, high intensity focused ultrasound to prepare the disc effectively to fractionate or liquefy the degenerate nucleus pulposus with a single needle puncture. And through that same needle, we will then inject a liquid form hydrogel implant, which will cure to form a polymeric implant where the nucleus was fully replaced, restore the performance of the spine, alleviate symptoms, give the patient a sustainable recovery, and all in a procedure that should take around about 45 minutes.
Tell us about the opportunity for Orthoson, both in the UK and globally.
The current treatment of low back pain is very poor. But there are still hundreds of thousands of treatments performed every year, surgical interventions, and Orthoson is looking to disrupt that market. So we're able to restore the spine, restore a degenerate disc, and reduce pain with a minimally invasive short procedure performed down a needle. The opportunity for us is certainly hundreds of thousands of treatments if you just look at the US and the EU. If you look globally, more, and with multi-thousand selling price for the treatment, we're still going to be an order of magnitude less costly than the current treatments. So the opportunity for Orthoson is certainly hundreds of millions of dollars in the US and similarly hundreds of millions of pounds in Europe as the available market to Orthoson.
Can you explain in brief the regulatory framework that you have to operate in?
Sure. So the big two are the FDA, Food and Drug Administration in the US, or the CE mark and the new MDR regulations for the EU. And we are looking to approach both of those simultaneously and in parallel. And broadly, what both of them are saying is, before you can use this treatment to treat a human, we need to show that you are both safe and that you will be effective for for that patient. So we're going into a very detailed program now where we're looking at all of the parameters of the technology, both the implant that we'll be creating and the ultrasound technology that we'll be using to show, first of all, that it's safe, and then secondarily that it's effective. That will certainly involve a clinical trial, at the end of which we'll apply then for CE mark for sale in Europe. We'll apply for an FDA approval for sale in the US, and both of those can then be a platform for us to seek approval in other markets, certainly Australia, Southeast Asia, South America also.
How has the business been funded to date, and how much additional funding will you require?
So Orthoson's been around a little while, but actually it's been spun out of the university formally in April 2019. And at that point, we had a little bit of pre-seed funding through our sister company, OxSonics. The primary first event was in October 2019 when we closed our seed round, led by Oxford Investment Consulting and a consortium of VC and angel investment. And that gave us 1.8 million of investment. And we also have received 1.45 million from Innovate UK in 2 grant awards in that period of time. And that will take us through this stage where we're building the works-like prototype. We're looking to secure a Series A round in 2021, which will be something in the order of 7 or 8 million pounds, with a component of grants and a component of private investment, which will take us through to our first in human trials.
We've been, unfortunately, through the COVID-19 pandemic, but has that had an impact on your business, and what's been your strategy for addressing the situation?
So it's certainly had an impact, and we have the two main groups in our team, in the development team, are the software group, who very, very easily and quickly transitioned to working from home with no challenges. We had a bit of more of a challenge from a health and safety perspective to keep the lab running. And so we have a laboratory team. We had to change our health and safety procedures, lay the lab out differently. But it cost us about 2 or 3 weeks right at the beginning of April where we couldn't use the lab. But the team came together, we worked very hard. And since about the 20th of April, we've been running that lab every day. So it impacted the project a little bit, maybe about a month off our timelines, perhaps 6 weeks. But we've worked really hard to catch up, and we're looking to do so by the end of September. The bigger impact actually was third-party partners and collaborators. Some of the partners that we'd rely on had closed their laboratories or closed their facilities or were late delivering critical pieces of equipment, and that's cost us a little bit. And as I say, we're likely to be running 6 weeks behind. So it has brought some change, as we've all have noticed, and some benefits. I spend most of my days on Zoom and Teams calls, but now it's leveled the playing field. We can talk to clinicians, we can talk to investors, we can talk to consultants and advisors globally, Japan and China, Australia and the US. So it has changed the way we all work, but it's an opportunity for spin-out companies like us to talk more broadly about the exciting things we're able to do with our technology and the opportunity for Orthoson.
How have you found the spin-out company environment in Oxford compared to your previous experience in the MedTech sector?
In some ways, very familiar. There's a very strong industrial base in and around Oxford, but where it's different to other places I've worked is that you've got this huge resource of academic and intellectual support for your project. So we've certainly enjoyed a very strong collaboration with the Institute of Biomedical Engineering at the University of Oxford, and they support us. We have a small group of postdoctoral researchers and professors who support us when we get technical challenges. And that's certainly been fun working with them and has enabled us to accelerate the project. And I think one of the things that I want to focus on is making sure that Orthoson is an industrial organization focused on its aim of developing a breakthrough technology in the area of spine surgery. And so it's important, I think, to keep a distinction between the academic support, which is focused on research, and the industrial focus that is a development program that we're embarked upon.
What have you found to be the most challenging and rewarding things about leading a spin-out company?
In terms of rewarding, I'd say the most rewarding thing is looking at the team we've built in such a short period of time, in 18 months. We now have a world-class team working in ultrasound and acoustics, doing things with our particularly unique form of high intensity focused ultrasound that nobody else is doing. We have a team of software guys that are a combination of mathematicians and industrial coding specialists with regulatory experience. They're really pulling that together into some clever stuff. We're building some world-class acoustic modeling platforms that are incredible when you think that they didn't even exist 18 months ago, and they're now already helping us to move our technology forward and validate it and show its safety.
What are the key goals for the business in the next 12 to 24 months?
We have a really busy time coming up. We're right in 2020 is our year when we're building our work-site prototype and evaluating the performance of that prototype. So each of the components will then be fixed and ready to go through to the safety and efficacy evidence stage. So 2021-22 will be about proving the safety and efficacy of our technology in every detail, starting with the risk management documentation and building a dossier which proves to the FDA and to the CE mark regulators that we have a safe and effective treatment that we can go into clinical trial.
What is your vision for Orthoson?
The reason I joined Orthoson, the reason I was excited to step away from what I was doing at the time, was because low back pain and back pain generally is in need of change. But the current treatments work sometimes, but there's certainly a huge opportunity for technology to restore back pain rather than fusing and limiting range of motion, and do so in a minimally invasive way. So the vision is to, first of all, to deliver on our current technology in low back pain. Then certainly we'll look to apply this technology to neck and back pain, where we can be micro-invasive, where we can respect the local anatomy, where we can reduce pain, but in a sustainable way that keeps the patient moving. We're all more active. We all want to run, walk, work, play tennis, play golf, all of those things that need a healthy spine. What we have the opportunity to do is give that mobility and that restoration of performance to a group of patients who don't currently have a good other option.
Rich, thanks very much for giving us your time today. We'll follow the progress of Orthoson with great interest and wish you all the best in your journey.
Thank you for your support. Thanks for the time, James. It's been fun.